Welcome, everyone, to Trades Talk Tuesday. I'm your host, Pop, and as those of you that have tuned in before well know, I've been in the trades for over 25 years, and I wanted to bring my experiences to you guys. And for those that are interested, you're even considering it, getting into the skilled trades, I think it's a good idea. I believe there's a lot of opportunity for everyone, and for you to stop by and learn from me. Hopefully that'll be the first step you take to getting into the skilled trades. And I wish all the best for you if you do make that choice. But let's do what I always do, and that is welcome everyone, whether you are on Kick or Rumble or Twitch or YouTube. I welcome you here, and I hope you enjoy your time with me. So, that being said, as I so often do, I'll start the week off with news of the week. Check and see how things are doing out in industry, and look at a few stories and see whether they can tell us whether the economy is going to be doing well or not. First, I just have to turn off my heater. There we go. All right, let's, courtesy of Plant Magazine, we'll have a look here. Going back to October the 30th, General Motors reaches tentative agreement with UAW, potentially ending 6-week strike. Well, that's good news. We don't need the car industry being on strike. I think it would be very detrimental to them to have any length of strike go on, that's for sure. But let's have a look at this one here. Honda to produce Civic Hybrid in Ontario and Indiana starting next year. Come on now, let's see this story here. There we go. Alliston, Ontario. Japanese automaker Honda says it will start producing the Civic Hybrid next year at its plant in Alliston, Ontario. The company says the Ontario plant will produce the sedan version of the car. The hatchback version of the Civic Hybrid will be manufactured at a plant in Indiana, according to the automaker. Hey, DJ Ronnie G, how you doing? Nice to see you. Just getting into our first story here. Honda already produces the hybrid version of its CR-V sport utility vehicle in Alliston and at the plant in Indiana. The company says the Civic Hybrid is a key step in its electrification strategy, which includes equipping its core models with hybrid electric systems. It says it expects Civic Hybrid sales to represent more than 40% of Civic sales in North America. Oh, that was a very short article, that's for sure. All right, well, moving right along. Business Group estimates several 100,000 clean energy jobs in EV battery storage and solar. Really? Let's see what that is all about. Whether that is a growing job sector. A nonpartisan business group that advocates for clean energy estimates that 403,000 jobs will be created by the 210 major energy projects announced since the Inflation Reduction Act took effect in mid-2022. I'm curious, any of my American friends can tell me, is that Inflation Reduction Act working? Is it doing anything, or is it just a lot of hot air? Please let me know. It goes on. At least 86 billion in investments have been announced, with the largest job gains expected in. This is they don't check their articles for grammar. I'm just reading it word for word, and they just don't do their checks. The biggest job gains expected in the electric vehicles, battery storage, and solar energy sectors, said the report issued Wednesday by environmental entrepreneurs. The IRA, signed August 2022, contains $500 billion in new federal spending to lower healthcare costs, increase tax revenues, and address climate change by offering incentives so clean tech companies innovate and manufacture in the U.S. So $500 billion to lower the healthcare costs. What are they going to pay for it for you? Is that what that is? They're going to increase tax revenues by spending money. Increase tax revenues, but they're doing it by spending $500. I don't get it. Somebody want to explain this to me? And they're going to address climate change by offering incentives. So payoffs, they're going to offer payoffs to tech companies. It's pretty much what it is. They're taking the citizens' money and giving it to companies so they can bribe them to stay and innovate in the U.S. We're in the biggest economic revolution we've seen in generations thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act and other clean energy policies, said E2 Executive Director Bob Keefe. The EV sector has the strongest response to the IRA and represents 58% of investments. When the projects were being announced, this sector expected to support 185,700 jobs annually for 5 years. Battery storage is expected to support 48,000 jobs, and solar is expected to support 35,000 jobs, both annually for 5 years. New jobs indirectly related to the announced project could include lumber mills hiring more staff to handle growing demand for construction materials, and restaurants getting busier because construction workers at the new factories are starting to eat there. I think that's pretty optimistic, but okay. Form Energy is a company building multi-day batteries in Weirton, West Virginia that committed to creating 750 permanent jobs at its factory by 2028. CEO Matteo Jaramillo said the company's ability to scale quickly is due to support from the state and federal governments. Support in the form of probably money that they're giving. The people's money are being given away to these companies. We would not have Weirton without West Virginia, and we would not be going as fast as we're going without the IRA, Jaramillo said. Christopher Chung, CEO of Economic Development Partnership of North Carolina, a nonprofit public-private organization, said North Carolina is one of the many states in the South seeing growing clean technology investment. Bipartisan legislation at the federal level has really juiced the pipelines of activity for us when it comes to economic development, especially attracting foreign direct investment. Chung said many North Carolina communities colleges partner with private companies to develop local training programs and job opportunities. As communities, colleges develop a rhythm for training the type of workers these companies need, that's going to enhance the appeal of our workforce and state as a business location to more and more of these clean energy companies. Such a significant investment in climate action comes with hurdles to cross in the labor sector, experts say. Who are these experts? They just throw out, I hate it when they just throw out these words that are, oh yeah, these experts say this. Well, who? Who was it? Tell me. Don't just say experts. It means you have nothing to back it up. Although investments in clean energy are on hyperdrive, other factors were supporting the clean energy labor transition before the IRA, said Joseph Kane, researcher at the Brookings Institution, nonprofit research organization. These factors include growing pressures to reduce planet-warming gases, changing consumer behaviors, and clean technology becoming cheaper and more efficient. Kane said state and local leaders who receive funding for clean energy will have to be increasingly attentive to the workforce development, since some people aren't aware of these job opportunities or don't have access to relevant training. That's because they have to get the word out more. You know, you have to tell them at a young age, elementary school or whatever, high school, start telling the new generations about these jobs that are coming up. Labor shortages in the clean energy sector, particularly in construction, manufacturing, and electrical work, are notable, said Thomas Kwan, Director of Sustainability Research at Schneider Electric, an energy management and industrial automation company. Kwan also said other circumstances that could impact job creation include the permitting process for clean energy projects, which can be complex and lengthy, as well as critical mineral supply chain issues such as geopolitical forces and changes that could happen in the broader energy market. Oh, what do we got here? Moving along. Toyota more than doubles investment and job creation at North Carolina battery plant. Ooh, that's good news, isn't it? Let's have a look. Hey, Jay's daddy, how you doing? Nice to see you. Let's go over a bit of the news here and see what's going on out in industry. Raleigh, North Carolina. Toyota will invest an additional $8 billion in the hybrid and electric vehicle battery factory it's constructing in North Carolina, more than doubling its prior investments and expected number of new jobs, the company announced Tuesday. The Japanese automotive manufacturer projects the new investment will create about 3,000 additional jobs, bringing the total to more than 5,000 jobs. When its first U.S. automotive battery plant begins operation near Greensboro in 2025, the plant will serve as Toyota's epicenter of lithium-ion battery production in North America and will be a key supplier for the Kentucky-based plant tasked with building its first U.S.-made electric vehicles, the company said. Toyota's fourth and largest investment in the North Carolina facility brings its total investment to about $13.9 billion to help meet its goal of selling 1.5 million to 1.8 million electric or hybrid vehicles in the U.S. by 2030. It also add 8 new production lines for electric and plug-in hybrid batteries. North Carolina's transition to a clean energy economy is bringing better-paying jobs that will support our families and communities for decades to come, said Democratic Governor Roy Cooper, who recently returned from a trip to Tokyo where he met with Toyota's President Koji Sato. John Suggs, president of Toyota North Carolina, said the announcement reinforces Toyota's commitment to electrification and carbon reduction. While fulfilling its promise to bring economic growth to North Carolina, Toyota is committed to using 100% renewable energy to produce batteries at this North Carolina plant, which has been under construction since 2021. The automaker has been accused by environmental groups of dragging its feet on electric vehicle production and relying heavily on its sale of hybrids, which use some gasoline. Toyota said it will have 15 battery electric vehicles for sale globally by 2025. Well, that's not far off now. We're in the last 2 months of 2023. We got another year to go. Automotive manufacturers have been racing to meet the rising demand for electric vehicles in the U.S., which is responsible for only about 8% of the world's battery production capacity, according to U.S. Department of Energy. The U.S. still relies on international markets to mine and process most raw materials needed to make lithium-ion batteries, but the nation has been working to shore up production after a backlog in the global supply of computer chips, another essential component of electric vehicles. Led several automakers to shut down their production lines at the height of the pandemic. President Joe Biden's administration has since poured billions into bolstering the domestic supply chain for batteries, computer chips, and other necessary electric vehicle parts through the Inflation Reduction Act. Some state governments have made the investments of their own, are hoping to attract major manufacturers to the area so that it could receive hundreds of millions in cash incentives, tax breaks, and infrastructure upgrades from the state of North Carolina and local governments for fulfilling its job creation and investment goals, according to state officials and documents. Republican State Senate leader Phil Berger called the company's latest investment monumental. The plant is expected to breathe new life into the Greensboro area economy, which never fully recovered after its textile industry dried up at the turn of the century. The additional jobs and increased capital investment are proof that the triad of our rural communities are prepared to support high-tech manufacturing, Berger said, of the central North Carolina region, encompassing Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point. Well, there you go. Toyota is going to double its investment. We'll see how that goes. Auto workers are the latest to spotlight the power of U.S. labor. What is the state of unions today? I think they're okay, but they have to change with the times. You can't just be a militant union. You have to have a little bit of give and take. The economy stayed flat in August. Estimates suggest the economy shrank in the third quarter. That's the Canadian economy, because it's StatCan. They're the ones that do the statistics. Chinese factory activity contracts in October as pandemic recovery falters. Oh, let's see what's going on over in China. Hong Kong, an official survey of manufacturers shows China's factory activity contracted in October, suggesting the economy remains on uneven footing. The Purchasing Managers Index, or PMI, fell to 49.5 in October on a 100-point scale, down from 50.2 last month. According to the National Bureau of Statistics and the China Federation of Logistics and Purchasing, a figure below 50 indicates a contraction in manufacturing activity, while a number above 50 reflects an expansion. The non-manufacturing PMI for October fell 1.1 percentage points to 50.6, a sign of slowing activity in China's service and construction industries. Factory output and supplier delivery times improved, while measures of new orders, raw materials, and equipment contracted. This is if you believe anything that China puts out. I for one, I can't believe anything that the government of China says. They can't be trusted. They lie. You know, they're not gonna show their cards to everybody. China's recovery from the pandemic has faltered after an initial burst of growth earlier in the year faded more quickly than expected. In recent months, the government has raised spending on building ports and other infrastructure, cut interest rates, and eased curbs on home buying. But economists say wider reforms are needed to address long-term problems that are stifling growth. If reflected in hard activity data, today's PMI suggests that the momentum of China's economic growth ebbed at the beginning of the fourth quarter. Robert Carnell, regional head of research for ING Economics in Asia Pacific, said in a report. Carnell said support measures, including increased government spending, will help offset any tendency for the economy to slow. Even so, today's data suggests that although it has weakened, economic growth is still ongoing, he said. Recent data suggests China will likely to hit its growth target of 5% for the year. He said the economy expanded at a 4.9% annual pace in the last quarter. The property sector, once an important pillar of China's economy, will now become a drag on growth as developers struggle with huge debt burdens and slowing sales. So that doesn't sound good at all. Especially when you've got developers having huge debt burden and slowing sales. Like, they're in a bubble and it's going to pop on them. All right, what's next on the agenda? Canada's unemployment rate climbs to 5.7% in October as the economy sees modest job gain. Yeah, I could have told you it wasn't that good here. Magna beats expectations with profit boost as light vehicle production ramps up. During strike talks, Biden worked to build ties with the UAW's leader. They have yet to fully pay off. Yeah, I'm sure he did. I'm sure he was well aware of his faculties and where he was at the time when he was talking. Many Chinese citizens got screwed on bad real estate. Oh yeah, okay, yep. Yeah, they would. And the one thing about they really don't care about each other over there. When they're doing things, they just don't care. New vehicles from Detroit's automakers are planned in contracts that ended UAW strikes. I'm curious about that. Let's have a look here. Detroit. Stellantis plans to build a new mid-size pickup truck along with battery-run versions of 6 Jeep, Ram, and Dodge vehicles. Ford envisions at least 3 new electric vehicles that will preserve jobs at several factories. General Motors plans to build at least 6 new electric vehicles, including a full-size SUV. Those and other closely held production plans by Detroit's automakers have emerged in details of the tentative contract agreements that ended the 6-week strikes by the United Auto Workers Union. Under the new agreements, the 3 companies will significantly boost pay and benefits to improve job security. But the agreements also provide a blueprint for which cars and trucks they intend to build in the coming years and where they will do so. Many of the plans will continue the manufacture of vehicles that the automakers already build, but the production of some new vehicles over the next few years is being planned too. About 146,000 union members will vote on the contracts in the next 2 weeks. Workers at 10 Ford facilities who have already voted have overwhelmingly favored the agreements, which will be in effect through April 2028. We might do this song and dance again in another 5 years. The UAW's success in gaining commitments from the companies to build new electric vehicles at several factories represented a particular achievement. The expansion of EV production will preserve jobs that could create new ones, depending on how fast the nation transitions from gas engines to batteries. I don't know about that. In my opinion, I think it's a very bad idea to just switch everything over from gas-powered to battery. You know, it's believe it or not, if they decide they don't want you to charge your car, and then you're not going anywhere. So it puts too much control in their hands. With a internal combustion engine or an ICE, it's easy to put petrol in it, and you can go. Make sure you're filled up with fuel, and away you go. Nobody's gonna control you unless they shut down the actual gas pumps. The automakers have all embraced the transition to electric vehicles as a large-scale and long-term commitment. The companies have set goals of having EVs represent roughly half their U.S. sales by 2030. Adopting the same goal, the Biden administration's 2022 Inflation Reduction Act increased federal tax credits to buyers of new and used EVs. Once again, did you guys notice anything? Did that Inflation Reduction Act, did that ever work? Does it work? Is it a real good thing, or was it just a bunch of hot air? You think the end game is go take a bus or stay in your pod? Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? It's all about, and I know people are like, oh, crazy conspiracy theorist, but it seems to me they really want a lot of control over people. This Klaus Schwab of the WEF looks like he has, he wants to just rule people like a king. And there's a bunch of useful idiots that are just helping him do it. I do not want to be ruled by anyone. I just want to just live quietly and take care of my family, and that's all I want to do. I don't want to have power over people. Just want to live quietly. But you got these people that are idiots, and they want to help rule, or they think they're going to rule, but they are not the true rulers. And helping these unelected officials, unelected people, like the WEF is not elected by anyone. The United Nations, that they're not elected. They're the ones that are implementing ESG. Why is a sovereign country listening to these guys? I'd be like, nope, forget it. We have a rule about law names. The name does the opposite. The Inflation Increase Act. That's pretty good, DJ Ronnie G. Yeah, I wasn't sure. Okay, what's not yet known is whether consumer demand for EVs in the coming years will justify the automakers' plans to accelerate their production. In the meantime, the companies are moving ahead with their ambitious EV production plans. In Belvidere, Illinois, according to the union, Stellantis will construct an EV battery factory that would create 1,300 jobs. And at its Toledo assembly complex, Stellantis plans to build a battery electric version of the rugged Jeep Wrangler SUV, and another with an unknown new powertrain. In addition, the union said the company plans to build a battery electric versions of the Jeep Wagoneer and Grand Wagoneer, large SUVs, at a plant in Warren, Michigan. The Ram REV battery electric truck is expected to be built starting next year at the plant in Sterling Heights, Michigan. At the Detroit assembly complex, Stellantis plans to build the next generation of the Dodge Durango and Jeep Grand Cherokee SUV. Both are to have fully electric versions. Ford, according to the contract highlights released by the UAW, has agreed to $8.1 billion in new investments at its factories during the contract, including for at least 3 new electric vehicles. A new electric truck will be built in an EV plant inside Ford's Rouge complex in the hometown of Dearborn, Michigan. At the Kentucky truck plant in Louisville, Ford will add gas-electric hybrid versions of the Expedition and Lincoln Navigator giant SUVs. Another assembly plant in Louisville that now makes the Ford Escape and Lincoln Corsair small SUVs will get an unspecified new electric vehicle. The Ohio assembly plant near Cleveland will build a new EV van in addition to the medium-duty trucks and van chassis it now produces. And an unspecified new vehicle will be built at a factory in Flat Rock, Michigan, that has been building the Mustang muscle car, pending Ford's approval to move forward with it. As for GM, it plans to keep several factories busy building new electric vehicles, according to the union. In addition to producing the Cadillac Lyriq electric SUV, GM's Spring Hill assembly plant in Tennessee will manufacture 1 new EV and 1 for a future partner, which is likely to be Honda. An electric full-size SUV will be built in GM's Factory Zero in Detroit, a designated electric vehicle center, and unspecified future electric vehicles will be assembled at a factory in Orion Township, Michigan. The company has already announced that the plant will build electric versions of the Chevrolet Silverado and GM Sierra full-size pickup trucks, and GM will build future electric vehicles at both its Fairfax assembly plant in Kansas City, Kansas, and its Grand River assembly plant in Lansing, Michigan. Stellantis and Ford declined to comment on future vehicle plans. GM said it would provide more details on its production plans moving forward. At most of the Detroit automakers' assembly plants, the current vehicles they make will continue through their product life cycles. And not all the company's production plans under the contract, of course, involve electric vehicles. The union says Stellantis has agreed to $19 billion worth of investments by the end of the contract, including plans to build its new midsize pickup in Belvidere, Illinois, where it has been moving towards closing a factory. The production of the truck, which will compete with the hot-selling Toyota Tacoma, would produce about 1,200 jobs. So there we go. They've got a few plans, it looks like, to build electric vehicles at the plants. And that's pretty much it for news. I'm not too crazy about trying to switch everything over to electric. I'm sure you can do some battery-powered stuff, but I would stick to hybrid, especially in areas where the temperature drops down to like the minus 20s and minus 30s Celsius. This is a problem because batteries do not like the cold. I think the optimal operating temperature for a battery, like a 12-volt car battery, is about 27 degrees Celsius. Other than that, they lose a lot of their power the colder it gets. But yeah, I would not put all my eggs in one basket. I think it's ridiculous to try to jam it down everybody's throat. If you had an EV, you'd keep the generator in the trunk. Yeah. Generator and a jerry can of gas just to power that generator. Me too, DJ Ronnie G, you betcha. Moving along, I was looking up some news. Using the interior heater, yeah, it uses more power, for sure. So yeah, and especially in the cold climate, and I know New York gets pretty cold too, or it has in years past anyway, and I don't know if I don't think it would do very well there, your electric car. So yeah, this is from the Okanagan College. The Okanagan is in British Columbia. It's like in the interior. It's where they grow a lot of the fruits and vegetables. It's like very, very fertile soil, and it gets a lot of rain and sunshine. So they grow a lot of fruits there. That's what it's famous for. City of Kelowna supports OC Trades programs through garbage truck donation. So one person's trash certainly can be another's treasure. The City of Kelowna proved the old saying true by donating a garbage truck to Okanagan College's Trades and Apprenticeship program this September. When we determined that this garbage truck was at the end of its service life, we were happy to donate it as a hands-on training tool for Okanagan College students, said Scott Hoekstra, manager landfill and composting operations, City of Kelowna. We're facing a shortage of skilled trades professionals, and we know that this donation will help the college prepare students to hit the ground running when they graduate and go on to fill important roles to keep the city running smoothly. Yeah, you get a few 0-degree days, negative in Celsius. Yeah, I get it. Yep. So yeah, when you're that cold, the batteries just aren't going to cut it. Like it's ridiculous. Sure, maybe in the southern states where it doesn't get that cold, fly at her. Have your electric cars. Further north you go, you're gonna have to have like all electric or all gas. And even if you go further north, even north of where I am, into the territories or Alaska, they run diesel engines and they don't shut them off. They let them run all the time because the weather is so cold that if you shut them off, they will never start again. So they just let them run 24/7. And that's what they have to do. That's how they survive up there. And good for these guys here for donating a garbage truck that was at the end of its life. Instead of scrapping it, giving it to the college for them to work on. That's the best thing ever, I think. It allows the students to get a hands-on approach with something that was in the field. And it's not like a classroom model or anything like that. It's the real thing. So it's got real problems. It needs to have, actual real work done to it to make it in operating condition. And you can learn a lot on a garbage truck. There's brakes you can take care of. There's the cooling system. There's the hydraulics even you can learn about on there. There's electrical wiring. There's the exhaust and the actual diesel engine itself you can learn about. So there's lots of things to learn about on just your average garbage truck. You just want to play with the compactor. Just want to make things tiny. For students, getting hands-on experience and working with larger machinery such as a garbage truck is essential to their education. It will ensure they have skills and abilities to work on their vehicles that keep communities safe and clean. It is a really cool truck to work on, said Marcus, a student in OC's Heavy Mechanical Foundation certificate. After I graduate, I plan to work at a truck shop, so getting to know these types of hydraulic systems will prepare me for equipment I hope to work on in the future. Yeah, it'll be a good practical experience for him. He used to follow around the garbage truck to watch it crush furniture. Yeah, throw some in there while it's driving by. Here, crush this for me. Whereas at before, we had compactors. Actually, they called them balers, but they would compress, whether it was paper, plastic, anything like that. It would compress it, and then it would bale it, so it would tie wires around it really tightly, so that you could make little cubes of garbage. Or they weren't garbage, but they were recycled stuff: cardboard, paper, plastic, metal. And that was really cool watching that go on. I also had to work on them, which was kind of a pain because, you get thrown into the working on a baler and you're not quite sure how the thing is supposed to work. But it's quite fascinating. We greatly appreciate the City of Kelowna donating a garbage truck to our motor vehicle program area, said Stephen Spears, Dean Trades and Apprenticeship. This truck has a unique array of hydraulic, electrical, and mechanical systems and makes an excellent addition to our fleet of hands-on training vehicles. Students and apprentices in the truck and transport heavy mechanical and heavy-duty equipment programs will all benefit from training with this truck. The Heavy Mechanical Foundation Certificate trains students to find employment as a heavy-duty mechanic, commercial transport mechanic, diesel engine mechanic, or transport trailer technician. Students also participate in a work placement that will introduce students to real workplace environments as well as provide perspectives to industry, standards, and expectations, more hallmarks of an OC education. And there you go. That is good news for them. Moving along. So, a lot of people will wonder, well, how do I get into the trades? I have no idea how to do that. So from Indeed, they have what here looks like a career guide, and it sort of gives you a step-by-step on how to do it. It starts out, many trades are in high demand. As the need for more experienced labor employees continues to grow, there are several types of trades that you may explore and research before deciding to enter a new trade. Trade jobs tend to be in industries such as transportation, construction, manufacturing, and maintenance. However, trades are also in career sectors like culinary arts, healthcare, and cosmetology. In this article, we provide a definition of what trades are, list trades, and discuss how you can enter a trade. So, what are the trades? Trades are jobs that require advanced or specialized skills that are gained through experience, on-the-job training, and vocational courses. Trade careers are typically known to be more stable and require technical ability. Trades are often jobs that may be physically or mentally demanding in some way. List of trades. There are many trades you may consider when choose a career path. Here are some trade jobs categorized by industry that you may consider. Mechanical trades. Mechanical trades work with a variety of heavy and light machinery. Typically, they work on fixing the machinery rather than operating it. Here are some examples in this field. HVAC installer. I've always said, and I want to really thank Irate Specialist for being on the show last week. He was an electrician from Florida, and he was really great to talk to. I really enjoyed it. Really cool guy. But he mentioned HVAC, and you need HVAC in the summer, and you need HVAC in the winter. So you are going to be just working a lot if you are an HVAC installer. Machinist, locksmith, elevator mechanic, auto mechanic, mechanical drafter, mechanical insulator, mechanical installer. In the construction trades, so this is usually a lot cleaner. You're building from the ground up usually, brand new, fresh installs. Carpenter, electrician, painter, mason, carpet installer, welder, plumber, landscaper, dredger, fencer, heavy equipment operator, pile driver. Like you always see these excavators on job sites, and when they're building a lot of stuff, like be a heavy equipment operator. You're not going to run out of work. There's just so much to do. Industrial trades. Iron worker, steam engineer, cargo freight engineer, line installer and repairer, asbestos worker. Yeah, lots of asbestos abatement. You really gotta dress for the part. You gotta really suit up into I think it's into like a space suit almost, because that asbestos is like the worst for you. Paving equipment operator, metal fabricator, boiler makers. The medical trades, respiratory therapist, phlebotomist, clinical laboratory technician, paramedic, dental assistant, medical assistant. Into the culinary arts and cosmetology, you can be a hairstylist, a nail technician, a beautician, a makeup artist, an esthetician, a chef, a baker, a pastry artist, a restaurant manager, or a food technologist. I don't know if I like that last one, food technologist. Sounds like you're messing around with the genetics of the food there. All right. In case you're wondering, how to enter a trade. Choosing a trade as your career path can be rewarding and exciting. There are a few different ways you can get into the trade. Some companies in certain industries choose to hire entry-level employees without education, and they train them in-house. Others require certifications, an associate degree, or a registered apprenticeship before hiring. Here are some steps you may take to enter into a trade. Complete high school. Always a good start, right? Even so, if you don't complete high school, you can get your GED. While you're in high school, you may consider taking a shop class or woodworking class through your school or their local program. This may help you decide what trade you'd like to enter. You can also practice some safe trade skills on your own at home to get an idea of what interests you. So you can, and some high schools are good. They have shop programs you can go into. Some don't, but it's all in the area you're in, I guess. Number 2, pick a trade. Once you've completed high school or your GED, it's time to consider which trade interests you the most. If you prefer being creative and working with your hands rather than sitting at a desk, then you may consider some more of the skilled trades. If you know you like to fix cars, then you may consider becoming an auto mechanic. Trade careers may directly correlate with your hobbies. For instance, you may try writing down the things you like to do, and then write down a few job descriptions that interest you next to it. Circle the things that the job and your hobbies have in common. You may end up choosing the trade that has most in common with your interests. To me, that's the best thing you could do. Then it won't feel like working. You're doing something, you're like, wow, I really like this, and I'm doing it all the time, and I'm getting paid for it. This is great. Some other good ways that may assist you is picking a trade you're interested in, and talk to a few people who work in the trades. And you can find out about research, and you can research pay and growth for each trade and review job. That's the most important thing. You find somebody. You want to be an electrician? Go talk to an electrician. You want to be a welder? Go talk to a welder. You want to be a millwright? Go talk to a millwright. You got to find a turtle trade, perhaps. There you go. Of the Teenage Mutant Ninja variety? I'm not sure. Maybe you could be a turtle doctor. Number 3 is select an educational program. Some places will tell you where to go. Like if you're working for a certain employer, they'll be like, okay, you got to go to this school, or however it is. You may choose to go to a technical school or take certification classes at a community college. Each trade has different requirements, and not all trades require formal education. However, taking formal education classes can help you gain competitive advantage over other candidates. That's important. You want that advantage over the other candidates. When they're looking at your resume, if you have the name of the school you went to and it's quite well known and reputable, I'm sure you'll be picked over the person who doesn't have that. So always, I can't stress this enough, pick up any skills you can, any education that you can get, and put it to your advantage. Just think of it as something you can throw on your resume, and that'll distinguish you out of the other people that may be gunning for the same job. You like teenage average normal turtles? Just the same? Yeah, of course. Many trades accept certificates instead of requiring an associate's degree or higher. This means you can take classes that are directly related to your career and obtain a certificate in 2 years or less, depending on the program. Generally, from what my experience is that you're going to spend 4 years going to school for your apprenticeship. It is recommended that you research the requirements for your trade you're interested in entering before you enter an educational program. This way, you know the specific requirements before you begin a program. Yeah, and there's going to be all the information you need online. You can find anything you need to know. What books are you going to need? How long is this course going to be? What you're going to cover even. It'll break it down so that you can find out exactly what you're going to cover in each year. Obtain an apprenticeship is number 4. The next step is to search for an apprenticeship program that allows you to develop skills while you are trained on the job. You may find apprenticeships through local trade unions, training institutions, professional associations, or employment agencies and programs. Another option you may consider is to apply for a registered apprenticeship program that is offered through public and private sector businesses. There may be some ongoing classes that you are required to take during your apprenticeship. Apprenticeships typically take 1 to 6 years to complete, depending on the trade, and you can expect to learn your trade, gain specialized skills, and receive some payment for it. Yes. After every year that you complete, you should get a raise from your employer, provided you pass the exams. Another item you may need to acquire is a license that assures your right to work or practice your trade. Licensing is not necessary for all trades, and the requirements may vary by state. Most license exams focus on things such as building codes, regulations, and ordinances. You may have to complete a certain amount of classroom hours and on-the-job training hours to qualify for licensing tests. Some trades that typically require a license are electricians, HVAC technicians, plumbers, dealing with water and gas, machinists, paramedics, asbestos workers, elevator technicians, hairstylists, makeup artists. Step 6, it's becoming a journeyman. After you complete your apprenticeship, you can become a journeyman. Becoming a journeyman suggests that you have passed necessary examinations and put in enough on-the-job training to practice your trade under your own license, rather than working under the license of a more experienced tradesperson. That still may happen anyway. Once you're a journeyman, you'll still have to defer to the older, more experienced journeyman. If you're all working on the same site together at the same company, obviously the person has seniority. You're going to listen to them. If you're just starting there, you're not going to be like, oh, we do it this way. You're going to get smacked down right away. So always defer to the people that have been there longer, because they know. Depending on your trade, you may need to work as a journeyman anywhere from 1 year to 5 years before you can become a master tradesperson. Master tradespeople can work with supervisory roles, and pay is typically increased due to expertise. Well, I suppose I could be considered a master tradesman because I've been in the trades for over 25 years, and I've been a journeyman since 2010. So that's a lot of years. But there you go. That's your information. How to get into the trades. Next up, moving along to everybody's favorite part. And that would be picture time. Picture time. I knew you guys like picture time. Have I got something for you guys today? Just something that I was working on just this week. Here, there, Oh, yes. Boom. There you go. All right. So, I was called to a problem with the safety shower pull ring. This is it here. This is the lever. You pull this. It's attached to this, which goes to a valve, and it's a safety shower. So what it does is it dumps water over you if you spilled chemical on yourself. Well, every time they try to close it, this thing would bend. As you can see, this thing should not be bent. This thing is bent, like, badly. It's only like 1/4 inch diameter rod, so it's not very rigid and strong. So they were like, okay, you gotta do something about this, Pop, you gotta fix this up. So there's a better shot of it there. This is a magnet which connects to a sensor. As you can see, it's cracked right along here too. But this sensor lets them know if the valve has been pulled, and then it sets off an alarm in the control room, and they can know if somebody's in trouble. So there's a better shot of it. On the side, you can see how bent it is. It's not supposed to be bent up like that. That's not right. So I made a new one. As you can see, I started off and did a few bends with a tubing bender. So this is stainless steel tubing. I believe it's 3/8 in diameter. And I welded it together after I bent it and made it meet together at this point. And I got some welds done on it. Did a little bit of wire welding, a little MIG gun action. And there you go. It's a little bit longer. It just needs, you can see it does stand up a bit too, but I'm going to tweak that with a little bit of bending. And we'll just skip through these here. Oh, yes I can. Okay, so I've bent the end, fit into the valve handle right there. So I had to bend this piece around so it would fit nicely, and it's a very cramped spot. I don't know if you can tell. So there's that magnet, and there is the sensor. So when that magnet moves away from that sensor, the alarm goes off. So you pull the handle down, the sensor moves away, or the magnet moves away, the sensor goes off, sounds the alarm. There's a little bit better shot of it there. You have to get it, I think I had to close it up a little more. This area here is a little bit too wide, just so it would have a little bit better fit up there, because it's very cramped. You can see the framework is in yellow here, and that's right there. Like this valve is hitting that part. And yeah, a better shot of where the sensor is right here. As it says sensing area right there. It's written, and the magnet's right here. So there's what it looks like. There's the triangle down here you grab onto. It looks like a banister. Yeah, that's a little better shot here of what it looks like as it's hanging and installed. There you go. A little better one there. So now, if anyone is in any trouble, they just got a yard on that, and it will pull the lever for the valve. As you can see, there's a little better shot of it now, a little wider shot. You've got the valve handle here connected to the valve. Those hospital things for broken legs. Yeah, it could be. Yes, this is where it's hanging now. And no, this is the motor of a motor and pump for a propane tank. So that's a little bit too far than what I wanted to show, but this was the main thing to work on. It's important. This safety shower is important. It's an important device to keep everyone safe. And so when something goes wrong, where they say that, you know, hey, this part here is not good enough, then you make it. I step up and make something that will work a little better. Always try to do improvements. That's the main thing. Yeah, you can fix things and make it the same as it was, or you can take the initiative and think, what can I do better to make this work so that it will not fail again. Safety showers are indispensable. Yes, exactly. And I know if you're covered in acid, you're going to want to use this thing, and you're going to want it to work well. So, and it better work when you need it most. So that's why it takes top priority. Anything to do with safety, when you're on the job site, no matter where you are, it should take top priority. You should make it if it's your job, to make it a top priority for you to get done or made better. So I'm glad I did it this way with a 3/8 stainless steel tubing, which is going to be a lot stronger than just your solid rod. First of all, because of the diameter, and secondly, because tubing is a lot stronger, and it's stainless steel. It's not just your mild steel. And so the people that made this safety shower, they should be ashamed of themselves. You've made something. It's hokey, is what it is. It's like this. Look at this thing. How is it supposed to survive the use? You know, this thing is bending. That should never happen. But I stepped up and I made it better. And that's the thing. Like I said before, try to make things better. When you're in maintenance, your job is to, yes, repair things, but also think about what would make things better. Always ask your operators or whoever your coworkers are, what would make this better, or what would you like to see here? And then just try to make that happen. Oh, and for those that are aware, because this piece here was cracked, I used some Loctite Super Bonder to glue it back together, and that stuff works really well. Like, it is awesome. It's like crazy glue. And it was a little more liquid than I would have liked, and I managed to glue my fingers together. So yes, even Pop bungles it once in a while. Silly things happen, and I glue my fingers together. So for those of you that didn't see that, I do have a picture of that. Just gotta remember, where did I put it? Oh, there it is. A good bonding experience. Oh, I'll get you, DJ Ronnie G. Ooh. There you go. There it is. So, I know it doesn't look like much, but these red marks here, and this part here, yeah, that's where my finger was bonded. So that's my, not my pointer, but my index finger, or the one next to it, the middle finger. And so my pointing finger and my index finger, or my pointing finger and my middle finger were glued together. And I was like, oh no, this stuff is terrible. And it wasn't just a little bit, it was quite a big swath. It was probably about an inch long. And I just kept constant pressure of trying to peel them away. And I sprayed it with some brake clean to try to break it down a bit. And I just kept pulling apart, and finally I put a rag over my fingers and used my other hand to spread the fingers apart, and finally got it, and it ripped away a bit. But then after that, I had to pull out my utility knife and scrape away all the residue of the Loctite. And I can probably show you. You guys don't know what it is. This is awesome stuff. Like, this stuff is just crazy good it is. Let's see if I can find it here. Boom, and boom, boom. Just clicking through here. Sweating it out, yeah. Yeah, you're right, DJ Ronnie G. That would work, but it takes a long time. Oh, there we go. Hang on, I got to fire up Brave. There we go. There's the stuff right here. Loctite 420 Super Bonder. It's an instant adhesive. So this stuff is crazy. It's yeah, it's good stuff. Like, it does excellent for putting stuff together. Yeah. It'd probably tell you what to do if you got it on your fingers here, but you're holding a bottle of Loctite 648. 648, eh? Do they have that here? Let's see what it says. Loctite 468. Is that the green stuff? Is that retaining compound? Have a look here. Come on. There we go. It is. It's retaining compound. Okay, it's the green stuff. Yeah, okay. Yeah, see how it's got a picture of it with a bearing on a shaft? So that's what you'd use it for generally. Keep bearings from slipping off the shaft or slipping on the inner race. Or outer race too, you could do that as well. So there's like blue Loctite, which is like low strength, and then there's red, which is higher strength, and then there's green, which is really strong. But yeah, it's definitely good stuff. They've done well. They made a name for themselves. Oh yeah, thread lockers. That's what it is. The blue and the red are thread lockers. What else? No, I think that's it there. But yes. So I'm glad I managed to get it apart. After I scraped all the residue with my utility knife, it was much better. Just the little remnants of losing a bit of skin. So should be okay. It'll grow back a little bit. So, but yes, that's what happened to me. And not bad for welding, I think. I didn't want to burn through the tubing because it is, the wall's pretty thin. So, yeah, there we go. So we're all good now. Got the handle on there. Just want to get we just have to fill it back up again because some of the water leaked out, so we have to fill it back up again. That's okay. Do that. And it should be all right. I'll just have a look here and see whether there's anything else to show you guys. Interesting. Did take quite a bit of pictures and videos today. Really yet, nothing yet. Did have a new compressor arrive at work, so that will be quite interesting. See that thing get installed. But yes, there you go. Always try to make things better. I think that's a good thing to try to follow. I know it's hard in some places. Your supervisors, managers, they're not gonna want you to make an improvement. They're gonna just want you to just do it like it was, and that's it. And it's like, well, then you're gonna have that same problem again. So yeah, there we are. I hope you guys had a good time. I did too. I'm going to wrap her up there. It was another successful Trades Talk Tuesday. Going to try to find and get some more guests on. I'd like to get the word out there and let them know that they can come on and talk about their journey through the trades. I find it quite fascinating, and it's some of them got some pretty crazy stories. I mean, we were listening to Irate Specialist last week, and yeah, crazy stories of some of the stuff he's seen and done and all that. So it's pretty crazy out there. Some of the stories, especially the old timers, they got a lot of good stories because, when it was like the Wild West of the trades, and they weren't as strict as they are now. So when you start hearing those stories, it's pretty crazy. You're just wondering how they still lived. So yes, I just want to thank you all for coming out here. Anyone who is watching on Kick, Rumble, Twitch, and YouTube. If you were lurking, that's fine. I appreciate you. DJ Ronnie G, it's always good to see you. Jay's daddy, nice having you stop in here. And anyone else that happened to be listening in, watching, hope you enjoyed it. Please do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't to already. Spread the word, tell everybody. Tell them there's this guy, this journeyman, he talks about the skilled trades every Tuesday. Or depending on what availability of guests, I'll have a special day to do it on, because I can accommodate them. There's other good channels out there as well, and people that I personally watch, like Pacific 4 and 4. There's Blaine's Escape Corner, Ronin66. There's DJ Ronnie G, who was in the chat. You can watch him on his channel. There's Brandon the Anime Guy. You want to know about anime, you watch Brandon the Anime Guy. The Nerdporeal Lifeform. The Angry Canadian, who we hope he gets back to streaming regularly soon. Woopa Troopa, who will be probably in a new place with new internet, so you can see him back to his chill streams, which I really like watching. Then there's Punkwaddle, who is at Floral from Under a Rock, and he appears on Snowdub's channel as well. I got a Discord, it's called The Shop, and that's where all the tradesmen hang out. We hang out at The Shop. Coming up, Saturday. Saturday is game day. Play some retro video games. So I finished Castlevania 3. I finally got through Dracula, which was a real slog to get through. Oh man. Just so many deaths. I'm going to be starting a new one. Start a new game. Start of an RPG. I'm not sure which one yet. I'm trying to decide still, but we'll see how it goes. We'll start the long process of playing an RPG. Be a little less platform jumping, a little more turn-based fighting. Sunday is always anime chat. And this month's theme is kaiju. So you're going to see me review some anime shows that have kaiju in them. And we all like our kaiju. In fact, our most favorite one is Godzilla. So you can enjoy some anime goodness with the kaiju theme on Sunday. And that brings me back around to next Tuesday. More trades talk. More showing video and pictures of things on the job site. More learning how to do things. More learning how to get into the trades. All that kind of good stuff. Well, I hope to see everyone on Saturday playing the game. Look forward to it. Until then, I've been Pop, and I am signing off.